the drinking water that we're drinking is loaded with estrogen. Not only that, but a lot of people are drinking bottled water and they think that this is some healthy option. Let me straighten myself up. Anyway, turns out that those of you who drink bottled water are even worse. Apparently the plastics cause problems, and I say plastics because bottled water is full of microplastics, tiny little particles that get into your bloodstream. In fact, you know, I do have a couple of friends when I come on here. When I come on here, I usually have this little fella. Yep, he's always here. And another one is this little fella here. Some of you have seen these before. I picked this up from Andrew Carnegie's house, and this was a gift, you know. Means a lot to me. Well, I did some research, and the conservative, and I stress the word conservative, estimate is that every year the absolute conservative amount of plastic that you are eating is right here in front of you. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to eat this. And by the way, there are other estimates that put the figure much, much higher. And I think it's serious. I mean, there are certain types of cancer that can be caused by this. My virtual assistant, Mona Lee, her mum died a couple of years ago because of breast cancer, and there appears to be some sort of connection between breast cancer and polluted water. The bottom line is that there's something in the water, and I don't think the water is safe at all. And so I think that I'm going to give you what I see as being a practical solution. A solution that can really address these issues, perhaps before they even come to a head. And it's a solution that I've started using. Now, some of you know that I have a water distiller here, and I'll show you it in just a second. But I never really used it much. I would have a cup of coffee or something, maybe a couple of cups of coffee. But then for the rest of the day, I'd be drinking Coca-Cola and Iron Brew, all sorts of soft drinks, sometimes Red Bull, you know. Well, that's changing. With immediate effect, I'm only drinking 2 types of liquid, and that would be distilled water and coffee that has been made from distilled water. Now, doing that is not going to completely eliminate these challenges, because there's pollutants in the food, in the air we breathe. I mean, it's everywhere. However, if you take that one step of drinking distilled water, get rid of the tap water, definitely get rid of the bottled water. Drink distilled water. And when you do that, you are removing well over 99% of estrogen from your water supply. It's going to make a huge difference. Somebody on Twitter posted a picture just the other day showing you a beach. And I think it was in the 1970s. You have a look, there's no overweight people. And something has happened. I think it's the water, and I think that a distiller is the way to go. Now, I'll show you the one that I've got, okay? In fact, I'll show you how this one works and everything, okay? Let me get my act together here. Alright, so this is what you want to do. As you can see, I've got a container here. This takes about 4 litres of distilled water. Important point of clarification. This is glass. You can get plastic ones, but you want to make sure it's glass. It's very important. And here's how it works. Now, this is distilled water, by the way. But what you do is, I have a machine right here. I'll happily show you. here we go. Got a big old window here. Causes me all sorts of problems with the lighting. But we've got this machine here, right? This sits by me every day. And so what you do is you fill up this big red machine here, which I should perhaps give you an idea of scale. Hold on a second. If I, let me just see, if I just take this fabulous cup of coffee here. There's a little bit of scale for you. So it's not huge, right? Not huge. But in any event, that's what we've got. And so you fill the red thing up, and then you switch it on and it boils. Now at the top there, the very top, right around here, is a fan. And the fan blows it blows air downwards. And inside this lid, there's a sort of coiling pipe. And so the evaporated water goes through this coiled pipe as steam, of course. But then the fan blows cold air onto the steam. And that means that the steam turns back into liquid in the form of water. And inside here, by the way, I might be able to show you this. I think I'm going to show you. Okay, let me show you. Alright, you can see a bunch of watches there. Alright, there we go. Now inside here, did you see this thing that broke off? Inside here, we've got this. Now what on earth is going on here? Well, this is a little lid. And if I open it and show you, what we've got is a carbon filter. Maybe I can pour it onto my hand here. So it's basically like, it looks like a tea bag. And there is paper there, I think it's disintegrated. But let's just say it looks like a tea bag, but this is not tea. This is carbon rocks. And carbon is an amazing element because carbon filters impurities. This is a known fact. So what happens is the water gets distilled, boils, goes up through here, then it goes through the carbon filter here, and then it drips into this container here. The end result, and I'll bring you back round before I make more of a mess here. Anyway, the end result of all of that is you get the purest water known to humanity. And it's funny how most people have never drank a glass of pure water and they have no idea. I mean, if you look at, I've only been doing this, don't get me wrong, I don't want to act too special here, right? Because I was sure I had a water distiller for a long time, but I was, I was drinking Coca-Cola and stuff like that. And it's only very, very recently that I've decided to just take the leap and go all in for this stuff. And again, really, really recently, like a matter of days. But look at my skin. Now, I know it's not perfect. I've got blemishes everywhere, but I'm not wearing makeup or anything, right? And compare the way I look now to the way I looked a year ago. Hello folks, it's Future DC here doing a little bit of editing, and as I look at this video, I can see that I have got terrible lighting and none of this is honest. So I've tried my best to get a reasonable shot from this video. Here it is. I think that's about as good as I can get here. And even though it's not perfect, I've tried my best also to find a sort of similar shot, similar situation and so on from a year ago. Now, it turns out I couldn't find anything. My self-esteem is very low, and usually when I go in front of the camera I'm wearing shades or a hat or I'm hiding somehow. However, I did manage to find a video from 2 years ago, And here it is. And yes, that's the same jacket. I believe it or not, I think I've got 3 white jackets, but that's definitely the same jacket. So, well, I guess there's something to get embarrassed about. But if you look at this video, and this is 2 years ago, this is right at the start of the video, perhaps I'm kidding myself on, but I think that guy looks pretty tired and certainly doesn't have much vitality. And you be the judge. You compare that guy to this guy. And yes, I know it's very amazing. My hair miraculously went back to its original colour, and perhaps that's for another video. But right now I'm talking about the skin. And by the way, keep the focus away from me, because when you look at people like Susanna Hoff, Jennifer Aniston, these celebrities, some of whom are over 50, even over 60, and they could pass for like being in their early 20s. You do your homework. They are always into distilled water. All right, back to the action. To me, it just makes logical sense to sort that part of your diet out. And the funny thing is that once you've sorted out your water, you can pretty much get away with anything. I mean, lately I've had these experiences, and people who've been on diets will know this feeling. You wake up and your stomach feels kind of smaller. It's strange, you know? So instead of it doing that, it does that. And it's kind of nice. And the funny thing is like the other day I had a big old Pizza Hut for breakfast. Not for breakfast, for dinner. You know, massive. And so it's like, look, I'm no nutritionalist. I'm not a doctor or anything like that. All I can give you is a little bit of evidence as to what I've been experiencing personally. And my own experience is that I feel as if I can get away with eating almost anything. And as long as you've got that pure water as a foundation, you're going to be in really, really great shape. And I'll tell you something else, you know. When you've got into the habit of drinking distilled water, ordinary water is like soup. Really and truly. To me, water tastes kind of thick, like normal tap water. So I think that this is the way to go. I think that there's something in it. I'm most definitely not any kind of health expert or nutritionalist or anything like that, and treat all of this as nothing more than just wild speculation. But I think there's something in the water, and I think that that's your solution. Now, I should sell these water distillers because I really believe in them. And for all it's worth, I can tell you that the one I've got there cost me about 60 or 70 quid. They're really not that expensive, you know. So I would highly recommend getting one of those. And for anyone who lives in somewhere like Scotland or some place like that where it's really cold, especially during the winters, one of these water distillers will change your life. Let me tell you something. Those who've been on the live stream for a while will know this. I went through a phase a while ago. It was actually before the summer. It was last winter, where the gas company were sending somebody to my house randomly every week, and they were trying to catch me out. And they were trying to catch me out because they couldn't understand why I wasn't using much gas, why I wasn't, for that matter, using much electricity. And they kept coming in every week. They'd try and surprise me, and they'd say, "We're here to read your meter." I'd say, "Fine, on you go." And they'd read it, and they'd scratch their heads, and then go away and come back, and go away and come back. It kept going on and on. They kept on trying to catch me out. And I says to the guy, "Look, the reason why I'm not using much energy is because I don't use central heating. Central heating makes no sense. Look at the logic, folks. Think about it. You probably spend most of your time in one room or even one chair at your home. Does it really make sense to spend vast amounts of energy heating up pipes under the floor of some corridor or something that you're hardly ever going to be in? To me, it doesn't make much sense. So I haven't switched on my central heating for a very, very long time. I mean, maybe even 2 years. And it's funny because when you come in here during the winter, it's like a beach house. It's so warm. It's incredible, you know. I cannot recommend getting a water distiller enough. And if it wasn't for coffee, I'll tell you something. Pardon my strange noises from my mouth here. If it wasn't for coffee, I'd probably have nice teeth as well, because distilled water is also really, really good for your teeth, you know. In any event, that's all I have for you. And I hope you enjoyed this and got something from it. Let me know your comments. What do you think? I've given you mine. I think that there's something in the water, and I think that the solution is to start using distilled water. But I'd be interested in hearing what you think. Catch you later.